Hey guys, we are here. I am Başak.
Hi, here we are. I'm Kate.
Hey Kate, good
Hey,
to see
Bashak,
you.
how you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good.
What's happening in life nowadays?
Let's see. It's nothing too exciting this week. General work, etc. But I am going to go visit my mom next week after this spring
Oh,
holiday. Yes, so that's going to be nice. Go visit her. She and help her out, help her around the house, do things for her. She's in her 80s, so yeah,
yeah, same as my mom. I am going to visit mine middle of June, and I can't wait.
good,
We
good.
talk about this a lot. We have special relationship with our mothers.
We both do. She's a friend, she's a teacher. In the yoga culture, as they say, this your mother is your first guru,
Yes,
right?
that's for sure.
Yeah.
And mothers being teacher also helps as well. Yeah, my mother was a math teacher, and she is definitely my first teacher in all aspects of life. Always an inspiration in my life, consistently. Even today, every day, I consult her. I see how she is and how she's feeling about things. Such a big guiding light in my life.
Yeah, mine too, mine too. My mother is the one who gave me my love for books. She is a huge reader. She's so smart. She just absorbs everything, and she always is telling me what to read, and it's always good. Not always, actually. Every once in a while we disagree, which is okay.
Disagreements are normal between mothers and daughters, but
They
I
are.
feel
Yeah.
that a
Yeah.
strong woman comes from strong woman.
Yes,
Uh,
agree.
and we're going to talk about today actually also strong men coming from strong
Yes,
women.
yes, we have a
So we have
guest.
a
I'm
really
very excited.
special guest.
Yes. So,
We have a wonderful guest. I'm going to just ask to unmute and introduce Andre Tanaka Selman. Let's see.
he coming on?
Coming on.
Let's see. Here is yay.
Hi.
Hi. Hi,
Hi,
Basak.
Tanaka.
Hi, Kate.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Nice to see
I'm
you.
doing good. I'm doing good. It's terrible outside in terms of weather, but
I know. Tanaka is joining us from New Jersey. I wanted to make an introduction a little bit who he is and how we know each other. Tanaka is a creative director and co-founder of Retired from Society. He's a self-taught designer. He worked in the past in Adidas, in Reebok, in New Balance, many sports companies. And Tanaka and I worked together at this company called Outer Stuff a couple of years ago. He's a very talented designer, very inspiring personality. And his new company, but it's not so new anymore, but he co-founded Retired from Society, I feel is very inspirational in its messaging. Before, I wanted to read something about his website, but before that, I just wanted to invite you to say hello.
hi, everybody. Pleasure to meet everybody out there. So,
Wonderful, wonderful. What is so inspirational about your companies? And this is interesting, right? When we announced our podcast, you reached out to me and said, I want to be a guest because I had things to say about women in my life. And I looked at your website again, at your About Us section. It says, first of all, introduction to your company and what does that mean, your name. It says the phrase retired from society encapsulates a bold declaration of independence and authenticity, a refusal to conform to societal expectations at the expense of personal happiness. And you say it's a celebration of individuality, drawing from the roots of one's heritage and the stories untold within family legacies. Wow,
Yeah,
so beautiful.
beautiful.
Tell
Yeah.
us about that, Tanaka.
it, well, the brand was created by my partner, Malcolm Garrett, and it was from actually a family photo. And how the name came to him extemporaneously was he was looking at the photo and he said everybody in the photo looked like they were retired from society. And so they looked free. They looked really happy, very in the moment.
Hmm.
I think they were playing cards. So it just resonated with him and it resonated with me. And so I helped. strengthen what he was trying to do by himself by helping him get funding. My wife actually helped us build a business plan,
Wow.
and then we found two silent partnerships, small money donations or contributors. And Malcolm and I have been on the grind, slowly building the brand, doing all the work. And it's not until you own your own brand do you see all the work and all of the micro touch points that are needed in order to make something, strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. Yes,
So
amazing.
tell us about your upbringing and your family.
Well, I was raised by my mom. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago. My mother and I moved here in 1977. We lived in Harlem. Most of my life, I lived in Harlem. First, I lived on the Upper West Side of by Riverside on 148th Street. Went to elementary and junior high school there, and then my mother got a better apartment down on Fifth Avenue and 128th. We moved there in my early teens, and that helped establish, I would say, my work ethic, my commitment to getting up and getting things done. Because my mother worked at a psychiatric hospital, so she was always gone doing work. So
Which one did she work at?
uh,
Does
it
it
it was
exist
on
still?
Randall's Island,
Oh, on Randall's Island. Okay. Okay.
and then it moved to the Bronx, or she moved to the Bronx.
Bronx. Okay. Yes.
So yeah, so that was all of her career. And so, during the span of, I think it might have been a 30-year career, because since we came here, she's always worked. And I had to get up, get my homework done, get to school on time on my own, because most of the time she would be doing double shifts. So I would
Yeah.
have to wake up, feed myself, get dressed, and get on the bus.
Yeah, that really
So
instills in you that thing of like you have to do these steps to get, otherwise
have
you're
to
gonna.
do the steps. It's very similar to what a lot of women, I hear women say. It resonates with me. It doesn't resonate with too many men, where uh, you basically have to get up and get things done because there's no one going to save you.
Yes.
And it's too often, and it's a sad saying um, that most women have to endure because they're doing things by themselves or with limited resources. So I learned how to do a lot with less. I learned how to have realistic expectations. My wife says I'm very quiet in the midst of storms, is because I've learned that, especially when you're doing things by yourself, because your mom has to be the provider, and you have to support her as best as you can. As the unseen supporter, is that you just have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right. So
you know,
that she doesn't have to expend extra energy to help you continue. You sort of had this independence, and you knew that independence was supporting her in some way.
correct.
Yeah.
It took a long time for me to understand that role and respect that role, because I was a pain in the butt as a kid. But you only know what you know, right?
Most of us
When
were.
you get into trouble, you don't always know the ramifications of the choice that you're making, the actions that you're taking, and then what the result is going to be um, on your mother's shoulders as well as on your last name.
Was there a was there a moment that you can recall where you sort of made that decision? Like you say you were a pain in a butt as a child. Was there a moment when you said, "Okay, I've got to not be that"? Was there a time, or is that just a slow change?
It's a slow change, but I will say the hardest lesson I learned was in high school. I was chasing after the wrong things and the wrong people, and I didn't get to graduate.
Ah,
And so that's when I learned that you might get into trouble with your friends, but um, the ramifications of those
You don't want to
choices,
get into trouble with your mom.
yeah, well, they land on me. Uh,
yes, yeah,
so, and my mom was very disappointed. There was a lot of anger in her heart and pain in her heart, and it took me years to come to terms with not just disappointing myself and affecting my future in a negative way, but it also didn't help her any.
yeah. So then what happened? So it's so interesting. So you didn't graduate from high school. So what did you do then?
Well, I had to get my GED.
Hmm.
I had to once again figure things out. I lived with my mom for a little while. Then I moved out and lived with some roommates. I got into the music industry, uh, writing music and
Oh,
helping co-produce songs with two friends. One's name is Vegas, and the other one's name is Naheem.
nice.
We were almost signed to Sony Records, uh,
Wow.
but
Wow.
it didn't pan out.
Yep.
Uh, when you're working with men and they're all trying to figure it out, and there's no leadership role in any given part, things don't
Mhm.
always gel the way they should or could.
Yeah.
Uh, and there's no leadership in when it comes to how we do things. There's no book.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it was amazing that you almost got there nonetheless. Like you almost got signed. So then when that broke apart, are you still friends with him, by the way?
Oh, still friends with them. Still love them.
That's
I
great.
still keep in touch. Text is the primary way. They'll shoot me a blurb or invite to something that they're doing. But when life is lifing and I've got a wife and three kids, and trying to do this business as well as have one client that I'm supporting right now externally. When life is lifing, you have limited time.
Yes, yes, absolutely. But you're still, that's great that you still have a good connection. Yeah. So so then what happened?
Well, actually, they introduced me to Puffy. Uh, Puffy, I did my first. That was how started realizing that my artistry or my creativity could make me money. So
Ah,
Puffy was my first client. I did a project for him called P Town. Is when he was promoting parties. Puffy introduced me to L.A. Reid and Rico Wade, and I created and designed Outkast's logo.
wow.
He
Oh my
introduced me to
goodness.
Usher. I did some artwork for Usher. He introduced me to Mary J. Blige. He introduced me to Heavy D. When of course all these things was when he was at the Uptown Records.
Yep.
And then I think when he started Bad Boys, when he introduced me to Rico Wade and L.A. Reid, and we met up at Jezebel to design a very famous logo now. It's as famous as say Wu-Tang's logo or
Wow.
Rolling Stones tongue.
Yeah.
I forget the name of that, but
Mhm.
I'm very fortunate that some of my creativity is out there in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
amazing.
definitely. So, how do you think being raised by predominantly your mother, and I don't know if there were any other women that helped raise you, affected you in in terms of relationships or at work, or which we talked about a little bit, it gave you a lot of discipline, but also creativity, right? Do you think that has any correlation with your work ethics, creativity, and also spiritually? How did that affect you?
I'll say that so the way my mother was raised and the way she raised me initially was to be seen and not heard,
Mm,
which is a difficult way to raise a
And
child.
old school.
Yeah, very old school. And I realized the flaws in that methodology, but I realized that a lot of women of a certain age, they absorbed the way that they were taught, and they didn't have time to adjust that methodology, that thinking, that process, because they're in survival mode.
yep.
So what my mother did was she put me in everything. I was in the Boys Choir of Harlem. I was in cadets. I was in advanced ROTC. I did multiple sports, track and field. So what she did was she financially supported me, though she could not be there for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what she did was she gave me a shot.
Yeah.
Right. So as long as I took the shot, I had, it, not an infinite amount of opportunities, but a lot more opportunities than other kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Even though I was still on school lunch and things like that, I still had an opportunity to survive and thrive based on what I did with my circumstances. So I learned that the women in my life, my cousin's ex-wife, she passed away. a long time ago.
Sorry.
And when I was struggling, and I think I was in junior high school, about to transition into high school, and I was struggling with myself. And she sat me down, and I'm crying, and I remember this vividly. And she's like, "Don't change who you are, right? Because if I change and conform for how society wants me to be, I won't ever know who I am."
Mm,
And I live with that every day because what I've learned is I'm a caring person. I have empathy. I've learned that from women, not from men.
yeah.
I've learned I've learned to express my creativity in a healthy and holistic way. I've learned that from women, not from men. I've learned, I'll say, um, I'm fortunate that the majority of my mentors have been women because I've learned the difference between how a male thinks and how
Mm.
a woman does. Right?
Oh, love
Um,
that. Say that
be-
again. How a male thinks and how a woman does.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, because so I could think of something, but I'm going to see a woman act it out. I'm going to see a woman do it, right? And I've learned to absorb that and listen and pay attention because with four daughters, I've learned that love is an action, right? So we've we tend to say we love each other, but if I don't show Bashak that I care about her, right, by supporting what she does, then she won't know I care about her,
Yep. Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So I've learned that, and that's my work ethic. My work ethic is when Basak interviewed me. I think I went through 3 rounds of interviews to get into outer stuff, but
Wow.
how I showed how I appreciated her taking a chance on me and choosing me rather, is every day I came to work, I showed her and supported her in my role. I
Yeah.
didn't, it's like I've learned to affirm the women in my life,
Yeah. And that's it's
because
yeah. Go ahead.
it
Sorry.
helps me.
Go ahead. I was gonna say
That's
that's sometimes
interesting.
harder for men to do that, particularly in the workplace, because you do want to, you feel like you want to push your career ahead, so, but to be there and affirm who you're working for or with is sort of a holistic way of working too, in some
Yeah,
ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
the best thing Sharon ever taught me is that if I live in fear of disappointing others, I won't reach my best self, right? So
Mhm.
I don't live with fear. I always use a loss as a setup, right? It either teaches me scheduling, it teaches me organization, it teaches me to be more prepared. It teaches me something that if the women in my life or the males in my life care about me, that they're also my mentors and my counselors. And so what I've done and what I've realized is the majority of people in my life that have been mentors to me, counselors to me, have been women.
That's so beautiful. First of all, I want to acknowledge you for, realizing that you didn't do anything on your own because most people think that I did it. It's my success, right? You really acknowledge the people along the way who give you a hand, and it's so wonderful and inspiring to hear that they have been mostly women. Um, and how do you think women supports men specifically, emotional and personal development, differently than maybe men?
Depends on the woman.
Good point. Hmm.
Because like just like a male or female, a woman's
Right.
words or actions can either build you up or tear you down.
Right.
It depends on the relationship that you foster with that woman in a professional setting. Does she trust you? Can she rely on you? Trust and relying on somebody, they're the same side of a coin, but different expectation, I've
Hmm.
learned. Um, do you make that person feel safe enough to trust you? Do you trust yourself enough vulnerably to cater to that person? Because what I've learned, I think it happened last with when I worked with Basak, is the difference is when you when you answer or work with a male leader, you're taking care of the task from
Mm.
from my perspective.
Mhm,
Yeah.
When I
mhm.
work with a female leader,
Mm.
I am once again affirming her trust in giving me that task.
That's
Wow.
so beautifully said. You know, I
Yeah.
never thought of it that way, Tanaka. That's beautiful.
Because when
Wow.
Basak would give me when she would give me a project, when she gave me MBA International, along
Mm.
with one of the ownership's sons, I wanted to impress her.
Yeah.
I didn't just want to design the product, I wanted to impress her.
Yeah.
And the impression that the sales team gave us to affirm our success is they said, "Oh, this looks like Nike product just without the swoosh."
Amazing.
Was, yeah, it was very
Wow.
creative. So
Yeah.
the woman then brings this element of almost connection and maybe more holistic creativity, right? Not just
Yeah.
about the task, but also relationship.
Yeah. Your demeanor and the demeanor of the women that I relish in my life, from Denise Kagler or Michelle Slobin April, or um, my first the woman who actually changed my life and changed my the trajectory of my career, Selma Tagan, who passed away in 2012.
Mm.
Uh, I learned that when they say yes to bringing me on board, that what brings me to work every day or doesn't make it feel like work is the appreciation of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not appreciating the job, not objectifying the job, because I've learned that how I get up every day and do my absolute best and squeeze the most out of the hours that I have in this task in front of me is that I think about my coworkers. I want them to be able to provide for their families and succeeded in their aspirations. Those are the things that have affected me and kept me. That's my North Star, actually.
Yeah.
That's so
Amazing.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is your mother still with us? Is she?
Yes, my mother
Yeah.
actually lives with me. My mother has Alzheimer's.
Oh, she does. Oh,
I
wow.
take care of her.
Oh,
We were
wow.
blessed. We were blessed to. This, ironically, how I met Vashak. I'll tell you a quick story. Is
Yeah, tell us.
um, my wife and I had just purchased our dream home in New Jersey, and right after that, my wife came to me and said, "You need to get a job," because I was
What were you
freelance.
Another
doing?
woman.
What were you
I was
doing?
Let's
freelance.
go.
I was freelancing. I've
Oh,
been
you're freelancing.
freelancing for so long, and
Oh, I see. She wanted you to get with the insurance and yada
yes,
yada.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And therefore, Bashak, those interviews were extremely important.
That's amazing.
Those 3 rounds were extremely important. So you changed my life in so many profound ways that
Yes.
I will always be grateful. Um, I
Thank you.
remember the first time you smiled at me when you saw my portfolio, and I said, I can work with her.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
an impressive portfolio, to say the least.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, so she lives with me. And I take care of her. I feed her. I do it the best I can, even though, life is lifing. I've got a wife and three daughters to manage that. One in high school. My middle child is going to high school in the fall. A 9-year-old is growing up with all these emotions, and daddy and mommy has to manage all of this.
That's a
Yeah.
lot. You have a
It's a
lot
So,
on
lot.
your plate.
did you have a male role model growing up, or was it like, was your mom? Because I say that for my mom. I also grew up with a single mother, and I always call my mother and father, because she really did balance both of those roles in my life. So I never really missed not having a male figure once they get divorced. So, how was that for you? Did you have a role model in men?
I'll say complicated again, very layered. Um,
Mm.
one of my closest friends, we're not as close as we were before. I truly still care about him deeply. His name is Guy Wood. he was somebody I looked up to. He came into my life in the late 90s,
Mm,
um, early 90s. Yeah, early 90s, and stayed there up until I got married to my wife Denise. And he taught me a lot. He taught me resiliency. He taught me getting the work done. He taught me patience. He taught me with my first wife, I was going through a very difficult time with our separation and everything. And he said, you know, control what you can control.
mm,
Mm.
So things were contentious at one point. But what he taught me was that she's going through a difficult time, and those emotions and actions are going to manifest shouldn't dictate how you react to it.
yeah.
And
Wise,
so
wise man.
Very
and
wise.
yeah, and it taught me behavioral uh, moderation in terms of not letting my wife see if I'm disappointed or angry or frustrated, because at the end of the day, both of us screaming at each other is not going to solve a thing.
Mm, mm,
And how will my daughter eventually see me
Mm.
if uh, her mother and I are absolutely uh, enemies?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. In a
You
way,
know,
he sort of taught you how to manage your emotions. Like if you think of the female side of you full of emotion, maybe this male energy came and said, "Well, there's times when you need to tamp that down a bit."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because so depending on the males in your life, you either go in the opposite direction or you model it, right? So, I had when I'm in the music industry, that's very machismo. It's very misogynistic. It's very carnal. It's not gentle.
Mm.
It's objectifying, and those are things that I'm not, right? And I'm thinking that, oh, that looks like that's interesting, and he's like, that's not you.
Ah,
You can't manage what you're not. It'll
Again, you
always
don't
be
need to
chaotic,
conform. Mm. Beautiful.
right?
yeah.
And water finds its path, and if you're like water, and you're looking for less stress, you're looking for more happiness, then you seek the right path. And too often in our careers, we don't always realize that our path, um, it may not bring us the monetary gain that some people objectify, but it brings us the serenity and the holistic contribution to our one life that we deserve. That's why when Basak left, um, I it it didn't resonate with me anymore.
Wow. Is that when you decided to start your own company? Is it more or
It
less?
it No, that still took a while.
Yeah.
But I knew I didn't want to be at outer stuff anymore, because like I don't know why I've been that way to some degree, but when when I um when I really respect one person in particular, like I did with Basak at outer stuff, when she was leaving and eventually left, I didn't feel um, I won't say I won't what wasn't confident in myself anymore. I didn't feel that there was a path for me in the company, the way had envisioned working with her.
Wow.
Thank you. I think the woman, right? We are nurturers. That's what I think I'm getting from this, that we are nurturers. We want holistically growth, right? And I think it's just so articulate that thank you, first of all, with all the great, comments that you made. But it's of course both ways, right? We see this, creative genius, also the person behind it, right? It's not just a body that's doing the job for us.
Yeah,
It's more about, who you are working with, that who you take delight in, because you spend so much time at work with people that surrounds you. So you want to work with people you like.
yeah,
So that's really important, I think. Um, so lots of lessons learned, I'm sure, in your career, in your personal life. Um, And it's probably hard to answer this question, like, what lessons you've learned, but uh, what you learn from women you work with or you lived with, including your wife and your daughters, especially. I'm sure the new generation, they are our biggest teachers.
Well,
Yes.
I think there's this quote that I created myself a while ago. I'm often conversing with my wife, and these flashes of inspiration come to me, and I realize that if you look at the total amount of time in your life that you exist on this plane, um, once you get out of school, uh, we commit so much effort and focus on a job, and we try to please people that we work with or work for, and we don't put that same methodology and commitment and work ethic in our love lives that to our families, and we let them down, all for a dollar. And I've learned in this relationship with my current wife and us, trying to be intentional in raising our daughters, because I have four girls and they've taught me so much. And
Mhm.
I'm not just saying that, I truly mean that, and I truly embody that daily. Is they deserve that same commitment that I would give to a job.
Yeah.
That those
Totally.
5 days a week that I give to a job, that I get up, I put on my clothes, and I spray myself down, and I shave myself for. Don't my wife deserves that. My daughters deserve that.
Mm. That's
That's
so
why I enjoy working
lovely.
from home.
Yeah. Yeah.
This reminded me of when I was at one point struggling at work over some person, which I wrote about this in my book, Uncomplicated. Somebody, this woman in my company, everybody wanted her gone. My peers, they were like, "You need to fire her. She's not doing a good job. She's not performing." And I was really struggling because I also knew the potential in her. And that was true that she wasn't performing in her current position. So I asked my teacher, what would you do? How would I handle this situation? Because I am in this conflict, my emotions and what needs to be done. And he gave me this lesson that I never forgot. He said, Başak, companies come and go, projects come and go. What's most important is relationships. So if you value this person as a person, then you figure it out. And I figured it out. I basically put my thinking head and switch her role and to something that she can actually really foster her talents in better. And she excelled in that.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, yes, I mean, it's not the task at hand. Every task, do you remember what projects you've done? How many things that you've done you remember? But do you remember the people you work with that you really admire and respect? Absolutely,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a great lesson for me. Thank God for our teachers.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I hate to be the one, we have about 5 minutes or so. Can you believe it? I'm always the bad person. There's so much to talk about. We didn't even get into how you self-taught yourself design, you
Well,
know?
hopefully there's a part two, like I said.
Okay.
There
All right.
will be a part two for
Should we
sure.
leave them? Should we leave them wanting more?
Yes,
I hope they
absolutely.
want more. I hope they want more.
So will you just
Um,
give us the website of your
yes, can
company?
you type it on the chat board, your website?
Yeah, let's see. Can we do that at the
How
end?
people can find you? Do you have a social? Can you
Well,
type that?
Yeah,
I
so
can,
you want to type it for me?
okay, let's see if I can. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the website is retiredfromsociety.com.
Society.com.
And your
Retired.
Instagram?
Yep. And our IG handle is RFS Brands,
Mm-hmm.
and at IG, and I guess that's it.
That's it. Okay. Yes. Everybody, please follow him. Please
Re-
Yes.
check out the
Retired with the
creative work.
reversed R.
I love it.
Oh, very, because you're looking out.
Yep.
You get,
I
oh,
need to get some product, by the way. I'm going to go on your website next to order some product. I'm excited.
can I ask one
Oh,
question about sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kate.
So the picture that you have on your website with two women and a little boy,
Oh,
Yeah,
that picture you mentioned, your friend's
is
family.
yeah,
that your friends?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
That's an
great.
incredible picture. We should have put
Uh,
that picture up.
Yeah.
But yeah, people go on the website and find out.
yeah,
What
and
kind of a,
We're
if
good.
you guys want to know any of the other women that have shaped my life, I can share
yes,
their info with you.
that
Yes.
would be wonderful. And also, I have one last question. What kind of a man do you want your daughters to partner up with?
If they
So
choose that.
If they choose that,
if they
absolutely.
choose, yeah. So I want my daughters to partner with someone who puts God first. Doesn't mean he's in church all the time, but that he has a relationship with God. I want someone that can appreciate them as the individual, not trying to please the world or has expectations of how they are perceived by the world, because that's not realistic. I want someone who loves them and shows them what love is. The thing I've learned to live out my life with Denise is I show her that I love her. I don't just tell her that I love her.
Mhm.
Someone who's not quick to be angered, because anger is ego to me.
Yeah.
um, uh, Someone who respects women.
Hmm.
Respects women. My mother wasn't perfect. I respect her. The women that I appreciated in my life as a child, as a teenager, as a young man, and now as a man. I will say this to anyone listening to my voice: the people that have encountered me in my life, they are not disposable in any way. They've
Oh,
all contributed to me in some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
Uh, uh,
yes.
so
Thank you. That's beautiful. We
Mhm.
are we are so lucky to have you in our lives.
Mm.
Uh, and women are lucky, and also you seem to be a lucky man meeting really the right woman in
blessed.
your life.
I'm blessed. I don't say that lightly. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
so much, Tanaka. That was so lovely, wonderful
I
interview.
know.
And we want you back for sure.
Yeah, I'm honored to have met you and just to
uh,
heard part of your
pleasure,
story, and I want to hear
pleasure,
more.
pleasure. Hopefully I get to meet you one day in person, Kate.
That would be lovely.
Absolutely. All
Lovely.
right, partner.
All right, shall I get us some music
Do
and
we
we
have an
will.
homework?
Oh, do we have homework? I think my homework is to think about the women in my life who have influenced me and saved me and loved me, and just do that as a meditation maybe this week. That's what I'm
Oh,
going to do.
lovely.
Inspired by you.
That's beautiful. I'll take
That's
that
my
on.
own work too, right?
Yes, that's your homework too. But I
That's your
think you do that
homework.
every day anyway.
And my homework is, I think I'm going to add on to that.
Mhm.
I want to also acknowledge man in my life and share more of myself and also hear them closer and keep them closer into my heart. So thank you so much for that inspiration.
Can I add one?
Yes.
Yes.
Um, Hold the hands of the person that you want to impart love and affection to, and I don't mean romantically, and speak life into them.
Physical touch,
Mm.
very important. Yes.
Very,
Love
Hold
that.
hands and speak life, love
yeah, into them.
into them.
Okay, done and done.
Done and done.
Thank you. Kate, would you do our ultra music?
Yes, hopefully this works. Let's see.
Ciao.
Okay. See you soon. Have a beautiful week, everyone.
It's a different song right now, but we're going
Okay,
to
why
go with
not?
it.
We are just vibing with that song. Why not? Let's go.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. See you soon.